It all started that I lost my job on the 11th of October. Then next day on the 12th, I made into an accident. And जब मेरी आँख खुली hospital में, when I woke up, I saw myself lying on a bed, watching doctors around, looking at my wife crying, holding a 2 months old baby girl. And I realized that I cannot move. I have been paralyzed below my tummy. My mother was sending money from India, and she was borrowing money from family members, from private lenders. 35 years of life, and I'm still begging to my mom. And then I took my first step of committing suicide. It didn't work out. I took the second one, I took the third one, and then when finally my wife found out that I'm taking such kind of steps.
But then the point is, when you can't see what's there, like in the book, she has kept the book in front of my eyes and she's like, mama, see what I have drawn. And I'm like, I don't know what's written, what's scribbled, what's drawn, what are the colors, nothing. I can see only a blur image of a book in front of me. So for me, if I fall, I know my family falls behind. I have been into a certain situation, right? And I know the moment I cried, everything will start melting down. So I never used to cry in front of them.
See, the first thing I will mention here is about our both stories. And I always talk about that the setbacks are for the comebacks. Okay.
I would like to know from you, which is that rule that you break silently but people don't know about.
The only rule I break is that I eat too much sometimes. Which I do tell my people not to, but I don't follow that rule. But see, that's what I say, that the business will only grow to the level of your personal development. You need to understand that, okay?
Welcome to Satya Manthan, where we talk about raw, unfiltered talks and the unfiltered side of entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is not just about building dreams, but when you have the guest, especially who's the guest for today, when you have such people on the show, it's not just about sitting on a chair, but you might end up turning your dreams and sit on a dream chair. Yes, that's exactly that I'm going to talk about today with our today's guest. Before I unveil the name of the person who's sitting with us today, I would like you to recall what we stand for at Satya Manthan. Satya Manthan is all about being real, raw, and unfiltered about the conversations in entrepreneurship. Yes, it might take guts to be there. Yes, it may be your dream, and someday you can fulfill your dream too. Let's move on to today's guest, welcoming Mr. Jaikishaan today on our show. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, Shakshi. Really appreciate for you to have me here and talk about the entrepreneurship, because it's the core of my life, and I believe it's your as well. So let's talk about it, and thanks again for having me here.
Thank you so much. So first of all, guys, let's make this space a little bit of more enjoyable for you before you start skipping off this video, because this video needs to be there in your list or in anyone else's list who want to move out from a wheelchair to a dream chair. Yes, it's not just the wheelchair that exists physically, but sometimes these wheelchairs are also there in our mind. And Mr. Jaikishaan is the right person to set up the right mindset when it comes to moving forward out of the odds in your life. So I'd like to start it on a very light note right now. I would like to understand, if you have to define your life in the form of an emoticon, how would that look like?
My life, in terms of, I will say that my life is all built on emotions, because I always believe that 95% of the humans on this planet make their decisions on the basis of their emotions. And ask yourself, the last thing you bought for yourself, for your partner, for your parents, for your friends, for your home, was it really needed? Was it really not there in your life before? The reason why you bought that is because how it made you feel after you had it. So that's why we always make sure that whatever we do in our life, it's on the basis of the emotions. And I have understood that when you start controlling your emotions, Sakshi, you start living your life by design, not by default.
That's right. That's right. I would totally agree on that, because even I believe that the people who live their life by default, okay, are the people who will, sorry to say, but will always find excuses in not being able to do some things, right? Okay. And there are people who will also say, like, how to design my life, right? Okay. So we'll talk more about this perspective as well in our communication ahead. But currently, I would just like to know, like, from being a corporate person to shifting at a place where you have coached so many people, to starting a club which we call as Dream Chair Club. What is this journey all about?
Journey started of being an entrepreneur was in 2017, I believe, when I had that moment with my daughter in November 2016. But coming back to the core reason why it all started that I lost my job on the 11th of October 2015. I was made redundant from my workplace where I worked for 10 years in the corporate office. Then next day on the 12th, I made into an accident while going to see my friend for another job opportunity so I can get into the workforce again. क्योंकि just before that accident 2 months ago the accident, we were blessed with a baby girl, first child. और 6 महीने उसके पहले 6 महीने we moved into our first home, which was our first house in Australia. And because my wife was expecting at that time when we bought the house, she left the job. And because it was our first house, so we paid all the savings towards the deposit of the house. So बैंक भी जीरो था, ठीक है, और नया घर था, रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी भी ज़्यादा हो गई थी बिकॉज नया बेबी था, नया घर था. And now I have lost the job. And now next on the 12th of October when I got into that accident, and जब मेरी आँख खुली hospital में, when I woke up, I saw myself lying on a bed, watching doctors around, looking at my wife crying, holding a 2 months old baby girl. And I realized that I cannot move. I have been paralyzed below my tummy, no sensation. दोनों पैर चल नहीं रहे, दोनों पैर महसूस नहीं हो रहे हैं कि क्या है. And that was a scary moment. और वो मोमेंट कैसा था पता है? I always refer to it as a terrorist attack of 9/11 जो वर्ल्ड ट्रेड सेंटर पे हुआ था. If you might have seen that video on television,
Right.
where the World Trade Center was falling down in pieces, I saw my life falling down in pieces in front of me. Losing a job, now lying on a deathbed, I can say, with no legs moving. And doctor came to me just close to my ears and told me that, Jaikishaan, sorry, but there is a severe injury in the spine. We have to operate that, but I do not want to give you a false hope. You might not walk again, or if you do, there is only 5% chance. That exactly what the doctor said. And that broke me. That broke me into pieces. And then I knew why my wife was crying. And then they took me to the hospital or to the operation theater. Did the operation. The operation lasted for 10 hours. I was in hospital for 8 months, in intensive care, then in rehab. लेकिन कुछ improvement नहीं हुआ, so they had to send me back home. I came home. Now home is a 4 walls with 2 other people, and I didn't wanted to put my emotions and stress onto my wife, so I stopped sharing with her. She felt the same, so she stopped sharing with me. So the gap was becoming bigger and wider and wider and wider. क्योंकि हम दोनों, ऐसा नहीं था प्यार नहीं था, ऐसा नहीं था इमोशन नहीं था, बट कहीं ना कहीं ये था कि if we will talk about it, we'll both will go into a depression and stress. And we didn't want it that. Or then we became apart. There was a lot of anger in the life. Because, as a man, when you come from the society where we come from, we are always being told that you are the protector and you are the provider. और जब प्रोटेक्टर एंड प्रोवाइडर ऐसे फेस पे आज के खड़ा हो जाता है ना लाइफ में, ही ब्रेक्स he breaks, especially the Indian males. है ना? And that exactly what I was going through. I was blaming myself कि मैंने ज़्यादा पैसे क्यों नहीं save किए. I was blaming myself कि मैंने ऐसा क्यों नहीं किया. I was blaming myself that why I was there where I had to be in that position जहाँ पर मेरा accident हो. You know, why I didn't focus that मेरा job जाने वाला है. Why didn't I paid attention कि ऐसा कुछ चल रहा है ऑफिस में. So I was self-sabotaging myself. But then I also came to know that because 9 months 10 months हो गए थे तो सबसे बड़ा टेंशन था कि हाउस का मॉर्गेज कौन भर रहा है क्योंकि वाइफ काम नहीं कर रही. आई एम नॉट वर्किंग. हु इज पेइंग द मनी. Where the 2200 Australian dollar is coming from every month which I have to pay towards my house. I asked my wife one day. Wife started ignoring me. Then finally I forced her. I was like, see, I'm worried क्योंकि मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि किसी दिन बैंक वाले दरवाजे पे आएंगे और बोलेंगे घर खाली करो. क्योंकि पहला घर था तो आई डिड न्यू द टर्म्स एंड कंडीशन हाउ द बैंक वर्क्स इन ऑस्ट्रेलिया, है ना, क्योंकि कभी पहले घर खरीदा ही नहीं था. And we were starting off as a family at that time. So, you know, you just go for and follow the rules what are said by the government over there. So मैंने पूछा and then my wife finally told me that my mother was sending money from India and she was borrowing money from family members, from private lenders. And then I was like, mother is a homemaker. My sister works as a social worker. She only makes 40,000 rupees a month. How can they afford to send me 1,20,000 rupees every month? And it's been 10 months, so that means they have already sent me 10 lakh rupees. So I called my mom and I was like, really? And then mom started crying and they said, tu chinta mat kar, everything will work out. And that's what mom does, you know. That's what parents do for you. Yes. They are always there for you. They are always taking care of you. But as a man, it broke me. Man, like, 35 years of life and I'm still begging to my mom. And not even that, because of me, my mom has to beg for money from someone else. And then I took my first step of committing suicide. It didn't work out. I took the second one. I took the third one. And then when finally my wife found out that I'm taking such kind of, you know, steps, she called my doctor. I was being put into the psychiatric home. I was being watched 24 hours 7 to make sure that I don't do such thing again. फिर मुझे after 3 months, because of the medication and everything, I was feeling better. But I was gaining weight. I went from 107 kgs to 185 kgs in like 3.5 months. You know, because of that depression, stress, and medication. And then when I came back home, I was at least feeling okay, but the nightmares were still there. वो anxiety वहीं की वहीं थी. हाँ, मैं steps नहीं ले रहा था because the medication was, you know, compressing that emotion of harming myself. But लेकिन वो thought हमेशा वहीं था कि यार कैसे होगा आगे. And then I had a moment with my daughter, जिसने पूरा life मेरा change किया, where she looked into my eyes one day, I looked into her eyes. और वो moment ऐसा था जैसे शाहरुख खान की movie में होता है ना, where Shahrukh Khan is watching the heroine and heroine's looking into Shahrukh Khan's eyes and everything freeze. There is a wind blowing, you know, and there is a music behind the scene. And that exactly I felt. Everything stopped for a moment. And my daughter whispered in my ears and said that, Papa, you can do it. And वहाँ से मुझे 2 choice मेरे सामने आए. It was the magical moment and I had 2 choice. Either I accept the things as they are, okay, and live my life by default, or I do something about it and prove the doctors wrong and do something better for my daughter. And from that moment, I made myself into the zone where I can learn about mindset, I can learn about mindfulness, I can learn about meditation, I can learn about human psychology. क्योंकि आपने नोटिस किया होगा, every successful person on this planet always talks about focus on your mindset. You know, तो मैंने बोला यार ये वर्ड कभी स्कूल में सीखा नहीं, कभी कॉलेज में सुना नहीं, कभी दोस्तों ने जिक्र नहीं किया, कभी पेरेंट्स या फ्रेंड्स व फैमिली मेंबर्स ने नहीं बोला, ये जो मिलियंस ऑफ डॉलर्स कमा रहे हैं ये लोग इस पे क्यों इतना एम्फसाइज कर रहे हैं. Then I started learning. I started going to online free webinars, workshop, understanding कि ये क्या है. And then when I understood, I started implementing. And when I started implementing, I started seeing results. And when I started seeing results, I started becoming better, in my place.
That's nice. I mean, really heart touching story. There are two reasons for this, why this is heart touching. One, I believe uh, I myself also have been into a space where I had my own hardships of life, where from having everything right to changing in a way where in 15 days you lose your eyesight, the whole world is dark. Just like you, I also have a daughter. She's 6 now. That moment, she was hardly 2.5. She was learning to write, scribble on the book, and she's coming to me one day and she's like, mama, look what I have drawn. So she has been drawing since she was 1.5 years. Okay, she's got gifted in that particular genre, so nothing to do with that. But then the point is, when you can't see what's there, like, in the book, she has kept the book in front of my eyes and she's like, mama, see what I have drawn. And I'm like, I don't know what's written, what's scribbled, what's drawn, what are the colors, nothing. I can see only a blur image of a book in front of me. That shifted for me everything. I was like, yeah, I mean, I have so much behind me. And sometimes, like, you have families where the males are standing, like they stand there. Sometimes you have families where the females stand there, right? Okay, so for me, if I fall, I know my family falls behind. I have been into a certain situation, right? And I know the moment I cried, everything will start melting down. So I never used to cry in front of, like, them. But then one day, I don't know what happened, and I cried like hell in front of my husband. And just like you, you guys said that, the you gap was there, and you both were not talking, and things were not happening. We were talking, we were jolly with each other, we were talking, we were supporting each other. But then still, that feeling of what I'm feeling, I was not letting it go down onto my husband, because somewhere I knew, jahan main giri, mere piche piche sab girega. And that time, just like you guys also, we were also building our home. The property was under construction. My mom-in-law was taking care, so she was not living with us. So baby was all through me. So like a similar kind of a story. So that's why I really felt connected. Second thing that I felt really interesting about this whole thing is that if a person wants, or if a human wants, like, I realized, I experienced this in my case, and I feel the same thing was there with your case also, that if a person wants, you can do what you want. Because that's the same moment when I learned about meditation. I learned about healing meditation. My doctor was surprised how after 4 days my eyesight started shifting of meditation. I told him, I'm doing nothing, it's just your medications, and then I'm doing just meditation. He said, just meditation? You are doing meditation means you are doing something. I said, okay. I continued with it, and the belief started growing more and more onto fixing up the mindset, working more on meditation side, spiritual side of ourselves, and stuff like that. Now, moving towards the entrepreneurship side, right? Okay, I would like to definitely know from you, what is it that your real story of entrepreneurship looks like? Because, like, we all have those crafted stories of everyone where people are like, okay, we are successful. They are, okay, I would not call them scripted, but yes, I would call them crafted. But then no one talks about the real side of what actually happens. Like, okay, so I just want to break down the ice here, but I want to understand what actually happened that you started your own venture. Yes. And not didn't actually think about going to another job.
Yes. See, the first thing I will mention here is about our both stories. And I always talk about that the setbacks are for the comebacks. Okay. And I will ask everyone that do not wait for to experience the death so you can start living your life. You have people like Shakshi or me, and there are other people around you, those who can help you, those who can guide you, so you can go and ask them how I can do it, how you did it, get some inspiration, get some wisdom. and apply into your own life. Because I am 100% sure that if we can do it, you can do it as well, isn't it? Coming to the entrepreneur side of it, okay, I think I was always gifted with this mindset since childhood, because when I was in school, I used to run shows. I used to have stalls in events, so I always had that mindset of doing something my own. But when the responsibility came, I moved out away from that mindset and got into the corporate world. And when I switched back after the injury, when I was sitting on that wheelchair and I had that moment with my daughter, and when I got into that space of learning about myself, understanding my true belief system and what I really want to do, or finding the purpose, and when I took my first step in 2019 in front of the same doctor who told me that I have only 5% chance, I came back home. And when I came back home, me and my wife were sitting just like this, you and me are sitting, and we cried for more than 2 hours. And in that 2 hours, we didn't utter a word, no single word out of our mouth. We were just crying like a baby, because that emotion was coming out finally, just watching me taking that 3 step, just like I did when I was born. You know, taking that 3 step and walking towards the doctor in that room was so overwhelming for me and my wife that we cried for 2 hours. And now I had only one option. you know what was that option? That I can look for something which I can do from home, correct? And that's where I brought back that mindset of entrepreneur. I was like, मैं जॉब पे तो जा नहीं सकता क्योंकि आई एम नॉट फिजिकली फिट, so I have to look for something which I can do from home, correct? So I started looking, and when I started looking, I went on Facebook in that time, 2000 and early 2017 19, after taking that 3 step. I saw these ads coming up: make money from online, affiliate marketing, attraction marketing, and all that stuff. I was like, ye kya hai yaar? How can we make money? And Sakshi, what was my need? At that time, my need was only 2,200 Australian dollar. Frankly speaking, swear, I was only looking to make 2,200 Australian dollar because that was my mortgage. And if I could make that, I can ask my mom to stop borrowing money. That was my focus. Because 2015 से लेके 2019 तक I was in a 45 lakh rupees debt, which is 75,000 Australian dollars. तो मेरा फोकस ये था, पहले मैं $2,200 कमाऊं जो मैं भर सकूं बैंक में, जिससे मम्मी को पैसे ना मांगने पड़े, ठीक है? दैट वाज माय टारगेट. So when I came across this online making money, I started learning about it. And when I started learning, see, before you earn, you need to learn. That's why you write LEARN. If you remove the L, it's earn. But you need to earn, you need to put that L there, correct? So I started learning. I started understanding the game of social media. How the Facebook works, how YouTube works, how the Google ad works, how people are making money, talking to people, joining these webinars and all these stuffs, and from there the journey of entrepreneurship started, coming back to that small mindset I had in the schools, of doing something my own. And see, entrepreneurs journey are always, every single day starts with zero. You see, every day is a new day, because we are building the business brick by brick. It's not like that you have a family business, you got a money, because entrepreneurs are creative. They want to do different than what others are doing every single day. So that's why they have to start with zero. And I have built such a wonderful community under Dream Chair Club, which is my entrepreneur journey, which I define that I have built a community of people, those who not only believe in themselves, but believe in me as their mentor, as their friend, as their coach, because they know that I will be always there for them, always. And that's the trust we should build when we are trying to build a business. And we are in the economy of building community, not business. You see, recently Ranveer Singh has launched his business, protein bars. Logan Paul and Mr. Beast was in India, है ना? उन्होंने launch किया product. Why? They have built a community of influence people around them. If you can build that, you can make millions. You can make unwanted money in your life, because that's the power of
story, I guess, with Priyanka Chopra,
Exactly
Deepika
right.
Padukone,
Exactly
with
right.
Alia Bhatt, and
Exactly.
everyone now is running into that
Absolutely.
mode of starting their own brands.
Because that effort they have put in from last so many years of building this fan following, building this community, and now they can sell anything, whatever they want to that people, because now they believe in them.
Right.
You see,
Right.
that's exactly what was working on, and somewhere I am getting there. So I can, if I go, मैंने क्या बोला start में, you do not want customers every day. You want raving fans, the fans those who rave about you. That's your true customers. क्योंकि अगर बाहर जाके नए कस्टमर ढूंढने हैं, then you need a deep pocket. That will only work if you market through paid ads. क्योंकि वो ऑर्गेनिकली बिल्ड नहीं होगा, है ना? ऑर्गेनिकली बिल्ड होगा, वो होगा कम्युनिटी.
So true. So true. Yeah. So, like, moving forward, there's always, like, when you build something, okay, there's a base, especially in entrepreneurship, okay? It's said कि entrepreneur है तो येड़ा होगा. Yeda means, like, the person might be somewhere out of their mind. As you said, like, entrepreneurs are creative, they try to find solutions, right? तो ऐसा एक होता है कि like I've heard this a lot while I was interviewing so many people with my last book. I did really talk to a lot of people where people said, okay, yeah, there's not always everything that I do as per the standards or as per the thought process of people.
Yes.
Like you sometimes you have कि successful बनना है तो मुझे 5 बजे उठना पड़ेगा, for example.
Yes.
Okay, या successful बनना है तो मुझे 12 बजे तक या 2 बजे तक overnight काम करने की जरूरत है, because I need to create something which is like a big mansion of business. But then there are also points where we break our own rules.
Yes.
Sometimes.
Yes.
Okay, right? So I would like to know from you, which is that rule that you break silently but people don't know about.
I think the only rule I break is that I eat too much sometimes. Which I do tell my people not to, but I don't follow that rule. But see, that's what I say, that the business will only grow to the level of your personal development. You need to understand that, okay? अगर आपको बिजनेस को 1 million तक ले जाना है ना, तो ना स्ट्रेटेजी काम करेगी, ना प्लानिंग काम करेगा. जो काम करेगा वो आपका पर्सनल डेवलपमेंट काम करेगा. Because you and me know, you've been working since 2019, I've been working since 2019. We had so many roadblocks, we had so many hiccups, ठीक है? लेकिन the one thing which has kept us going is the belief down in the core. Right. Not a strategy, not a plan. Correct? है ना? तो any business you want to grow, you need to grow yourself first, then the business. क्योंकि कोई भी स्ट्रेटेजी, कोई भी प्लानिंग ऐसी नहीं है जो आपके लिए शॉर्ट काम करने वाली है. Even the systems you implement in your business gets stuck somewhere. कभी कुछ डाउनलोड नहीं हो रहा है, कभी कुछ अपलोड नहीं हो रहा है ना? So there are always hiccups, there are always roadblocks, So you have to be creative, and entrepreneurs are very good at that. They find their own way. They find their own way. By hook or crook, they will find their own way. And they will build what they really believe in.
Right. So from here, like, there's some one perspective that comes into my mind. Okay, we both come from Indian families. And when we talk about Indian families, we know how strongly supported or non-supported Indian families or Indian environments can be for a professional growth, whether it be irrespective of one being a man or a woman. Okay, everyone have their fair chances of good things happening and the bad things happening as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I want to understand from here is that, like, there are moments, however you believe in yourself.
Yes.
Okay, but there are moments where people will be like यार तेरे से नहीं होगा. Okay, or there'll be that one auntie who never visits, okay, or that one uncle who never visits. Suddenly they'll come to your home one day and they'll decide to speak something about बेटा चल क्या रहा है 5 साल से तुम्हारी जिंदगी में. Okay, and the moment you try to explain that what you're doing, it doesn't actually works. Somehow you land up, after they go, you land up into your own thoughts which are like यार ये जो बंदा बोल रहा था ये सही बोल रहा था या जो मैं कर रहा हूँ वो सही है. Okay, so I want to understand from here what happens when people doubt on you. Okay, do we also get surrounded by self doubts, or if we do, how we need to move out of it, because you are someone who is playing with people's mindset currently, right? Okay, so I want to understand it from your perspective. How do you help people? What is it that you want to tell to people कि यार ठीक है लोग बोलेंगे उनका काम है बोलना, but then what happens after that?
See, to answer your question, let me ask you a question. Okay.
Okay.
Let's imagine, okay, one of your friend murders someone. Okay. Okay. One of your friend goes out and kills someone, literally kills someone, and come back home and says, Shakshi, I have killed a person and I want you to take the blame on you. Will you take it or not? No, correct. So if you will not take the blame of someone else's steps and the doing, why you want to live your life on the definition of their success? I don't want to. Your definition of success is different than mine. Mine definition of success is different than from this person next to me. So you need to understand, every person on this planet has given a skill set. Every person on this planet has given a thought process. Every person on this planet has given an 86 billion neurons in their head. So you need to, first of all, stop worrying about the validation and approval of others. Because when you stop doing that, the things will start making sense in your life. But the problem is, because of social media, people are more worried about कि यार मैंने अगर ये फोटो डाला तो मेरी मौसी, मेरा मामा, मेरा ताऊ, मेरी मामी, मेरी चाची क्या सोचेगी. That's the biggest problem we live in. So if your definition of success is कि I want to better the businesses in India, okay, that's your decision. अगर कल को आके जैकिशन भी आपको बोलता है ना, साक्षी, you are doing a wrong thing, doesn't matter. It should not affect you because your purpose is clear. Your intentions are clear. No, nothing should affect you. But yes, if you are not well built on your emotions, okay, you will fall into that trap. Ask yourself, why Dalai Lama is Dalai Lama? Why Sachin Tendulkar is Sachin Tendulkar? Why Amitabh Bachchan is Amitabh Bachchan? Ask yourself why. Because repetition is the mother of mastery. I have been doing this since 2019, that it is in my nerves. Anybody will be not influencing me any other way. No. They don't even have a space. मैंने जब ये चीजें find out की, when I started learning, the first thing मैंने क्या किया था साक्षी, in 2017, I sat down on my wheelchair and I went through my contact list, और मैंने जितने भी नेगेटिव लोग थे ना उसमें, जो मुझे अपलिफ्ट नहीं कर रहे थे, जो मुझे जरा भी होप नहीं देते, जिनसे मैं बात करता हूँ ना और फोन रखने के बाद मुझे ऐसा फील हो ना, अरे यार किससे बात कर लिया, I have removed every single person out of my phone list. Doesn't matter what you feel about me, because your opinion doesn't matter into my zone. Whatever you conceive and believe, you achieve.
So every business owner has their own points of pivot. Okay, like as I said, like every business owner has their own real side of the story. There's also a point of pivot from where you feel, okay, now everything is going maybe right, or maybe it might be falling as well. Okay, for me, I believe like there was a point when no one believed into virtual training systems.
Yes.
Okay, when I actually started doing virtual training systems, people were like, we don't need it in our offices. Fortunately or unfortunately, COVID happened, there was a mind shift, and then everyone started looking forward to virtual training systems. So that was a pivot in our business model, from where we found out that okay, whatever we are doing, we were doing right, but the only the time in the market maybe was not right for the launch. And now today everything is like kind of settled. So from you I would like to know, like, what was the pivot point in your life as an entrepreneur, and was it good, was it bad, how was it, how was the experience?
Yeah, no, I have pivoted a lot in last, I will say, 2.5 years. And the biggest pivot came when I noticed that there are people those who really need help, but they don't have money. So what can I do about them? So I created a plan and the coaching program for them, and it was purely text message coaching on WhatsApp only. So I got a number and build a WhatsApp community, and every person in that will be able to message me any time of the day, 365 days. Ask me a question, I will answer that question with a short video or a voice note. Okay, so they can take a step. Okay, and they will pay me $250 a month for that. That was the first pivot I did, because when I coach, I don't coach for $250. I coach for $6,000, $12,000, $18,000. Because I do predominantly I'm coaching into one-on-one coaching.
Right.
One-on-one mentorship. So that's expensive. But वहाँ पर कुछ लोग ऐसे हैं जो इतना पैसा नहीं दे सकते. They are starting up. They are new to this journey. They don't have money. They are still into 9 to 5, but they are doing a side hustle. So I created this and it worked well. We went from few hundred to almost 1,800 members into that group, to 2,200 to 3,000, So that worked well. Then I pivoted into recently, we are also getting into a virtual platform. It will be a membership site where people can subscribe. Okay, full-fledged around mindset, human psychology, personal development, career counseling, and everything. And that will be focused for the Indian market. That will be focused for the Indian market. I'm venturing with few universities. I'm venturing with few career counselors in India, and it's in the talks. Almost done. I will say 97%. It's almost there. Maybe in next 3 to 4 months' time, you will see us out there selling the membership side to the individuals, through the universities, colleges, and all. Yes. So that's the recent pivot I have made, because I can, and again the same point. One-on-one coaching is limited because you have a limited time. अब मेरे को last 2 साल के अंदर I am talking a lot on stages, frankly speaking. So I'm constant traveling. I'm constant in a different country. तो मेरे लिए difficult हो जाता है one-on-one coaching करना. So I had to pivot, and now it's the right time. I think that the consumers are ready also, and they are happy to pay a little bit to get some knowledge, so they can transform.
That's right. That's right. This takes me back to a conversation that I had one time, somewhere around 2 years back. I had a conversation with Nasir. Okay, Nasir is this Nas Daily guy,
Yes,
if you
Nas.
know him, right? Okay, so he's been to Bombay in one of his community meetups, and the same thing he's also building up, and he has built up a platform called as Nas.io, right? Okay, and we quite use it with our community as well. So the point here is, the thing that I learned at that particular moment, was to build about communities. I was having a WhatsApp community at that time, but definitely it was not a paid community. So one thing that even I have seen as a pivot is having your own communities and then monetizing that community for a business model.
Yes.
So that is something that has really worked in the past 1.5 year, and it is supposed to grow massively in the coming years. Is something that we are looking forward to. So really a nice take on that. Thank you for sharing your community views on this, the whole thing of business. And definitely, there are some moments where we feel कि यार business decision लेना है तो ले लो. Okay, now I have interviewed so many people. Okay, so I have interviewed people who are very cold enough in taking decisions. They're very chilled. Okay, I have a team. Let them bring the reports. Okay, let them show me the tables, and then I'll take the decision.
Yes.
Okay, there are some people who are like, no, okay, I know the markets. Okay, and I know, although the team has given me something, but then there is something that can be done better, and if I have that gut feeling, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Now there are some people who will be like no, जब तक मुझे कुछ मिलेगा नहीं solid, I'm not going to change,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So what are the kind of decisions that you make throughout your life? Or maybe in business.
Since day one, we don't have a concrete plan on the table. The reason why is because I'll give you an example. I was in Malaysia speaking in front of 1200, 1300 people. Okay. I didn't knew what I will sell. Okay. Someone else was speaking before me. I got the vibe. 1200 log hai. What kind of people are there? What kind of age group is there? What kind of target audience sitting there? You know, because there were the 4 to 5 different speakers. Okay. I called my team. मुझे आधे घंटे के अंदर लैंडिंग पेज चाहिए with this information, okay, and this barcode, QR code. Those they have sent me. I gave it to the camera guy. When I got onto the stage, I offered that, put that onto there, and I sold around 600 or 670 people.
Oh, amazing.
Because see, when you go out there with preparation, okay, you don't know what kind of a people are sitting there. You might be selling a patient with a mindset problem, but you're giving him a solution for a business. He doesn't need that. You know, he's there for a mindset problem. He has a problem with overthinking. Okay, and your offer is all about small medium businesses or entrepreneurs or solopreneurs. So you need to make sure that what kind of a audience are there. That's why my team is on hands on their toes, ready that सर का कॉल आएगा, आज वो इवेंट में है, कोई लैंडिंग पेज आने वाला है, रेडी रहो, ठीक है ना? So that's what I do, and that's what I love, because वहाँ पर क्या, you create an urgency. And when जब मैं ऐसा करता हूँ ना, I am from अंदर, I got a spark and motivation कि आज ये ऑफर करना है, you know, which I have just created in half an hour. You know, so it's amazing. That's what I do. That's why, yes, we know what are the offers, like what are the, you know, steps of the programs and curriculums and you know, talking points. But when I talk about the pricing and the targeting, that's I decide on the spot or half an hour or 1 hour before I'm stepping onto the stage.
Wow, I think you've given an amazing cue to the trainers and coaches out there.
Yes.
Because this is not only that I've seen you practicing, okay, I have been connected to a lot of trainers, coaches from the industry in India, and not only from India, from abroad as well. And there's a common thing that I have seen, especially that works for live events here, that whenever you do a live event, okay, there's something called as vibe testing.
Yes.
Okay, that you need to do for your audience. So I'm so like, you know, you're so true here, Jaikishaan, when you're talking about this, because this is actually that happens. And there are many people who don't speak about this particular thing, but yes, as a trainer, as a coach, you're standing there to sell. If you don't sell, you come down, you're defeated. People will only remember you for a few moments, they will forget, right? So there always has to be an offering. It can be for free, it can be for money. Somewhere people need to connect with you, right?
And because they really have a great offer to give out there in the market.
Right. So there's something that we do with our community before every podcast, okay? Every podcast that we record, we inform our community that we are having our next guest, okay? And it so happens that our community send us some questions to ask to the guest, okay? So we pick up some of the best ones from the list that we get. And I normally ask 2 to 3 questions only, concentrating on the time limits that we have today. Okay, so here is a question from Varsha from our community. Our community is called Solopreneur Circle, by the way. And Varsha is asking, Jaikishaan, what is your advice for someone who's struggling to overcome self-doubt or self-belief? Okay, so what could be your advice to Varsha today?
Best practice to remove the self-doubt from your head is talk to yourself in front of the mirror. Every morning you step into your bathroom, stand there in front of the mirror and talk to yourself. I'm not asking you to say that I am amazing, I am great. Talk to yourself, who you are, you know, how was your day yesterday, what you are expecting to have today, you know, whom are you meeting. When you start talking to yourself, you start feeling better. And when you start feeling better, you have clarity. Now, when we go to the psychiatrist, okay, or any mental health practitioner, what they do, they talk to you isn't it? वो जाके आपको मेडिसिन तो नहीं दे देते हैं कि आप ये खाओ ठीक हो जाएगा. What they do is they talk, they ask you questions, and when you do that with yourself, you become a psychiatrist of your health. You become a mental coach, mental health practitioner for yourself, and you become a better person for yourself. Whatever your mind can believe and conceive, your mind can achieve. Remember that.
Thank you so much, Jaikishaan. Thank you, Varsha, for asking that question. I'm sure it will help a lot, many more people. And the next question is from Tarun. Tarun says, can you share one social media tip that's guaranteed to boost engagement on social media?
I think the best strategy and best tip is that show your true self. Okay. People are fed up of looking at that filtered pictures. Let me tell you that. People are fed up of looking at that edited videos. Okay. People want to see who you are, who Tarun is, what he's doing in his day to day life. Okay. Show the behind the scene, because that will connect you with people, and then people will definitely leave a comment on your video or your photo, because that's what people want. People are done. Every second post on Facebook is sponsored ad. That's why I said that you have to, because you, Tarun, you are not into a business. You want to create your personal brand, maybe. Okay, you want to let people know who Tarun is, and that can only happen when you will show up what the true side of Tarun is. So I will advise you to show your day-to-day activities, whether you are catching a train or a bus or a taxi. Show that. That's the best way to get engagement in today's world.
Right. Okay. So here, should we, like, there are some people who create a vibe which is like, just to maintain that virality. Okay. Like, I need to be viral. I need to be viral. Okay. On the contradictory side, I normally talk to people whenever I talk to entrepreneurs, I'm like, for businesses, for me, like, that's my belief. Maybe I'm wrong or right. I don't know. Maybe you can tell me today. Uh, for businesses, we say that, like, it's the content that converts which matters. Okay. So if my content is not getting viral, but it brings customers to me in the form of, as you said, raving fans,
Yeah.
or in the form of people who are ready to buy what I'm selling. Okay. So that for me is, I'm done. I don't need any virality of
Yes.
millions of views, or, like, you see my social handle,
Correct.
you will be surprised to
Yeah.
see the views there. Okay. So although it's not like I don't want to build up, I want to build up on every single day, but virality is not a tick mark for me. Okay. So that's my view. What's your point on such a any such
And,
thing?
and I agree with you, Shakshi, because virality, you ask any person whose video or a content has become viral, ask them how much money have you made on that video or on that post. Okay, most of the people will say zero. The virality doesn't make you money. If you want to make money, awareness multiplies attention equals income. Awareness and attention will make you money, not the virality. So, what you said about the content strategy, yes, definitely works. But people don't buy content, people buy why. You know, what is why behind Sakshi running this business? What is why behind Jaikishaan building a dream chair club? What is why behind Elon Musk starting Tesla and SpaceX? What is why behind Elon Musk supporting Trump? That's the question people are asking. पीपल आर नॉट इंटरेस्टेड, क्योंकि जो आप चीज बेच रहे हो वो तो आपके पड़ोस में भी कुछ और कोई भी बेच रहा है ना. यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट. If I want to find this mug out there in the market, I can find thousands and millions of mug like this. But there will be someone who will be putting an emotion into that mug and showing why I'm selling a mug. And people are interested into that. And I better ask you to go and watch a video and a TEDx talk of Simon Sinek explaining this why. Right. Very clearly. It's a game changer. Please do watch.
That's right. Thank you for giving that insight, by the way. Thank you, everyone at Solopreneur Circle, for supporting our podcast, asking questions. Please do keep asking them because, see, every question brings you $1 million answer from an expert on our show. So keep asking questions whenever we hit an email on your inbox. So let's move ahead, Jaikishan. This is the the most closest part of the podcast to me. This is called the heartbeat moment. Okay, so as an entrepreneur, a lot of times we'll feel कि यार अब तो गया, like मैं तो गया. Okay, so that kind of a moment where you feel your heartbeat has skipped off. Okay, have you had such moments in your life? If yes, what have they been?
Oh, I had a lot of moments or such moments because the first moment was when I was literally approached by the Forbes that they want to put me on their magazine. The second one was again by them when they said that we want to put you alongside Elon Musk. So that was the magical moment, and believe that was the biggest achievement of my life because that was the year when Elon was at the number one richest list of the world. you know and a lot of people started sharing. I believe there were almost 800,000 shares on that particular post of mine, and I was mind blown. I was like, this is the power. This is the power, and that's what the magical part of my life is. And after that, yes, there were a lot of small and big wins, but I think that was the biggest achievement I had because I never imagined to share such a space with such a legend.
Wow, that's amazing. So nice to hear about this. But yes, definitely the last segment of our podcast is always about a rapid fire round with you. Okay, so we are going to ask you some questions. You don't have to think, just go on the go and put your answers forward. So first thing, one word to describe your entrepreneurial journey.
uh, I will believe that I am emotional. So
Uh-huh.
emotions describes my entrepreneur journey.
Oh, wow, that's nice. So that means the first question that we asked you over the podcast was right.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. A book or movie or a podcast you would like to recommend to every entrepreneur?
I will recommend a book, Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins. Amazing book where you can truly find how you can, relieve yourself and awaken the giant who's quietly sitting in there in your core.
Amazing choice. What's your dream collaboration that you're looking forward to?
My dream collaboration I'm looking forward to with Tony Robbins because he's my mentor, he's my coach. I have become a friend with his team. I have not spoken to him so far, but I want to really collaborate with him.
I hope this podcast reaches him. Okay. A quote or a mantra that you live by?
The quote I live by is that stick to the spirit of your ability. As long you stick to that and you believe in yourself, nothing is impossible. Look around yourself. Everything except the nature is built by human like you, human like me, human like Sakshi. Okay, if we can build such a wonderful world around us, is it really difficult for us to build our own life? No, it's not. It's not. If we can do it, you can do it as well.
Okay. If not an entrepreneur, what would you be?
Cook. Yes, I do really cook right now whenever I get chance. Okay. So I love to cook as I love to eat. So yes, I would be cook. Yes. So
Next time anyone meets Jaikishan, drop him a good plate of something delicious.
Yes, of course.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jaikishan, for being on the show today. It's been an amazing episode, and I guess you all liked it too. But definitely, we won't go without the super tip of the episode. So let's take one super tip for the audience in terms of social media, in terms of psychological marketing. What could be a simple strategy that can turn around any business?
The one and only strategy is that be in action. Be in action. Okay. If you will stay in action, you will be having a lot of opportunities knocking your door. Because if you will keep up with the time will never leave you behind. The day the time will leave you behind when you are not keeping yourself with the time and the generation we are living in. So stay in action, wake up with the mindset that I want to do something today, and you will feel better when you go back to that bed in the evening, you will be proud, you will be grateful, and you will have a life of appreciation.
Thank you, Jaikishan. I hope everyone got the thought of the day from here, from the ending of the episode. If you have been still here, do not forget to subscribe and share. And I'll see you with the next episode of Satya Manthan.